Siblings of porn stars, have you ever watched porn of your siblings and what was it like? Not related to a porn star, but a buddy of mine and I stumbled on a porn video of his mom and his uncle, the husband of his mom's sister. I think we were 14, and he was mad at his mom because she had recently kicked his dad out of the house and filed for a divorce. I believe he was going through her stuff to get back at her somehow, and we found an unmarked video, so of course we popped it in out of curiosity. What unfolded on the screen was a titillating homemade blowjob, where you couldn't see the face of the guy. It was awesome for me, his mom was hot, until the guy stood up and we both clearly saw the uncle. By the time the uncle flipped her over and started going to town, I was storing mental pictures for later. 5 minutes in, I was wondering why he was still watching, but one look in his direction told me he was growing more and more furious with each passing frame. I ended up leaving shortly thereafter, and he waited for his mom to come home from work. When she walked in and asked him what's wrong, he just hit the play button on the VCR. He ended up telling his dad and his aunt. Divorce proceedings went a lot more easily for his dad, and the uncle found himself divorced/cut off from the family. TLDR, my friend and I found a homemade porn video of his mom and her sister's husband. Friend blows up his family, and I end up with enough mental pictures to have some super weird faps. Redditors, why is incest a popular category in porn? Also Redditors, everything in this thread. There have been a few amas and stuff, I believe, from people working in the adult film industry, and they have said it's typically because it's a kink some people are into that is super easy to add to any porn film without actually altering the scenes in any meaningful way. A thrown in hey step bro. Or just a couple tags of step siblings can get viewers into the video. And most people who watch porn that doesn't care/like incest can overlook a thrown in reference. But those who like the kink, go looking for them. Incest porn is popular because it generally uses young/unknown actresses who fall into the same demographic as the majority of people watching. Also, as much as no one wants to admit it, they're curious about things considered taboo. The fact that they're step-siblings or whatever and the voyeuristic nature from which the videos are shot is generally considered arousing, even if it's not socially acceptable. My best friend from high school stumbled across a film of his parents fucking. All of the computers in his house had a file share folder between each of the family computers. For some reason it was just sitting in that file share folder. Being the computer guy of the family, I had to help my parents regularly. Dad calls me over to fix the internet, but he has to go to work. Rebooted the computer, everything worked. I then just started my normal routine of cleaning/organizing his files. I mean, why not, I'm here now anyway. I get to his download folder and start sifting through the random email attachments, and bam! Mom and Dad sex tape. It's still there. I don't clean up that folder anymore. Not a sibling of one, but I am a cousin of Dakota Sky. And it's weird as hit. I'm a photographer and her and I talked about working together when she was trying to rebuild a few years ago. The emails went from let's try to get together when I'm in Vegas the same time you are to hey, I need $12 for food and cigarettes, can you Venmo that to me and I'll send you some pics. We never worked together. Since this seems to be straying into close to sibling territory, I'll chime in. This was my sister's best friend in HS. She'd been over at my house, done sleepovers, hung out, I knew her well. She and my sister were pretty tight. Anyway, I am home from college one summer, maybe I was like 21? Whatever, after a night at the bars with some friends and one has the brilliant idea to go to an adult bookstore. This was late 80s, for reference sake. We go in, and everyone's joking around, looking at the stuff. I go over to a rack of magazines and lo and behold, there's my sister's best friend on the cover of Gent. Now, I didn't know what the hell even Gent was, but of course I look. It turns out that Gent is a magazine dedicated to women with enormous tits, and she had some enormous tits. I am amazed at what I see. Here's this girl I've known since we were both little kids, naked and spread all over the glossy pages of this smut rag. Turns out she did a few other mags and some videos, this was when VHS was starting to really take off. It turns out that she was very popular and her images and videos are floating around the internet even today. My friend's sister, I will not post her stage name, worked with the dudes from Bang Brothers in an administrative capacity, and then she got into porn. Another friend stumbled across one of her videos and promptly sent the holy fuck, check this out group text. Kinda sad because her life was pretty messed up before, teen mother, father of child was murdered, sex worker for a while, getting into porn. Last I saw she became super religious. Bang Brothers, worked as a military consultant for 3 months as they wanted the set to look real. One of the producers came into my buddy's Army-Navy surplus store in Miami while we were drinking after his ex-wife ran him over with a car. Needless to say I set up some scenes for some military-esque BS they did and got paid $35 an hour very irregularly. Was an extra in one of them, it was weird and ruined porn for me. Not me directly, but I worked in the porn industry for years and was on set a number of times when there'd be a sibling on set. Usually it'd be a new actress who'd bring her sister along, I guess for support? But it'd be amusing to see their reaction to watching their sibling having sex in front of them. There were also lots of stories from the performers about a sibling finding out for the first time that they were doing adult movies. I remember one actress telling me she had gotten a call from her brother that he was at a bachelor party with friends and all of a sudden there's his sister sucking dick on screen and he's mortified and trying to turn it off while the rest of them think it's the greatest thing they've seen in their lives. I'm sure now in the day of internet porn it happens a lot. Of course there were also examples of siblings in the business together. Tara/Tammy Monroe. Buck Adams/Amber Lynn. Etc. Edit. I also remember one time a brand new girl brought her dad along. He waited outside. It was, still pretty weird. Not quite what you are asking, but I will share my story. A few years ago my older brother messaged me and explained he found some compromising pictures of me on some porn sites. I was super worried and embarrassed. I have never done any kind of porn but was still irrationally concerned that somehow nude pictures of me got out. He sent me a link to these pictures and this person looks identical to me. Has the same haircut, same facial structure, eye color, exact same body shape, everything is the same down to a mole in the same place on the face. I was freaking out initially, thinking that maybe I was drugged and forced to do this? Or that my memory was wiped after having done porn. So I started looking for this person to see if I could find more stuff they were in. The initial site was incest porn, so I searched through all the incest porn in the world. Found a few videos and was finally able to convince my brother and myself it wasn't me only because this dude's dick was way bigger than mine. Edit. This sister fucking fiend is now referred to as my doppelbanger. My wife is an identical twin. Strangely, even though I technically know what her sister looks like naked and doing the deed, it doesn't really register. There thankfully seems to be some kind of mental barrier there that keeps me from thinking of her sexually. I hope the same can be said about her husband, and that he doesn't imagine he's fucking my wife when he's fucking her twin sister. Actually, it's fine if he thinks that as long as he doesn't talk about it. My identical twin brother was going through a girl's pictures on her phone once, and she ended up having pictures of my dick on there. He told me after a couple months and said at first he was confused at how she got pictures of his dick, only to realize shortly after it was mine. He also said we really are twins. Really awkward. Still awkward to this day to even think of, almost didn't even type it up. My sister used to be a stripper and is in a Girls Gone Wild type of compilation video. My husband found her video. I have now seen my sister's butthole. I've also seen my sister's butthole. Not because she's in porn but because my sister's a weirdo and would ask me to help her wax her asshole. I've seen a sex tape from my parents off of an old phone they gave to my little brother as his first phone. Luckily, or maybe unluckily, I saw it before he had the chance, so it was only I who suffered. I thought I was the only one. My dad gave me his old phone and he deleted all the pictures and videos, but he didn't realize that they now go to recently deleted. Edit. My first award on Reddit from talking about my parents' sex tape. I guess there's my silver lining. A longtime friend gave me an external hard drive to put the footage I shot of her wedding on, and, while doing so, I found a pretty explicit sex tape of her and her new husband from a few years ago while they were dating. It was just right there, not hidden at all. It was surreal to watch cause she's been like a sister to me for over 10 years. Not super arousing, more like a peek behind the curtain. Years ago when she was in high school, when I really knew her, she and her friends used to be the kinda girls who didn't curse or talk about sex, but now I've seen her butthole and seen her sucking dick. Never planning to tell her I saw that. It would only be awkward. Life's weird sometimes. At my last apartment our neighbor asked my GF if I could look at her laptop to try to fix it, so I opened up the laptop to an opened picture of her topless with my GF standing right behind me. That was nice and awkward. I've worked on many of my friends' and co-workers' computers over the Windows 98 to 7 years. I've had 2 female friends who told me when you are fixing my computer, the dirty pictures are in, ... With every expectation I would see them. These are not girls I've dated or hooked up with. A couple others that didn't even mention the pics they had. I'd say 60% of the computers I worked on in the 90s/early 2000s had naked selfies. My sister did porn way back in the 90s, Dirty Debutantes and another series, as well as 2 amateur scenes with her then boyfriend. Watching them was spooky, it was disturbing and sexy in equal measure. She is 8 years older than me and left home as soon as she turned 18, so we are not close, but it was still shocking to see. She's always been open about her past, so I figure she knows I have seen them and isn't bothered. She's a plump, middle-aged woman now and those days are decades behind her. My actual stepdaughter watched my homemade video of me and my wife. Repeatedly. I caught her with the computer, naked, vigorously humping the shit out of her body pillow. Needless to say, I make her wash her own bedding now. P.S. I didn't blackmail her into sex, real life is not Pornhub. Edit, goddamn you guys are gross. Repeatedly. I caught her once. Discovered she had been accessing the file on my wife's laptop for months. She was 15, she knew better. And no, it was not remotely sexy. Jesus Christ. Not a sibling, sorry OP but it is my cousin. I had no idea she is a somewhat popular porn star. Front page and everything. It was funny bringing my boyfriend to a Christmas family party and he instantly recognized her. So that's how I found out. Edit for those who are asking, smiley face. Me and my man are pretty close so almost immediately when he saw her he whispered it in my ear. I of course believe him as I was wondering why a 20-year-old was bringing a 50-yo guy to the party as her boyfriend. It clicked. Side story, me and my so were watching porn together, for science of course. We happened to see her on the front page again, clicked on it. I can confirm tiny girls make the dick look bigger.